Person with the last name Fraser. Today's proceedings are not going to be on Zoom. They are going to be on YouTube. You've been sent the link to YouTube in the chat. Please click that link and exit Zoom.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, can I hear it? On the record, case number 220715 FY. This is the state of Michigan versus Marion. Mr. Upshaw.
For the record,
Good afternoon, Your Honor. APA Catherine Wapter for the people, P84150.
Randall Upshaw for Mr. Marion, P43574.
Good afternoon to both of you. The date and time scheduled for preliminary examination. How are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, the people are ready to proceed.
Defense is waiving his right to have a preliminary exam.
All right. Mr. Marion, will you stand to your feet, sir? This is the date and time scheduled for preliminary examination. It's my understanding you do not wish to have that exam held today. Is that correct? Did anyone threaten you or force you to make that decision? Okay. And the only reason we're not holding the exam as it relates to your matters because you don't want that. Is that true? Very good. Court will accept it as a voluntary waiver. Your next court date will be, it'll be a week from last one. So the 9th, November 9th, 9 a.m., Third Circuit Court. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
That concludes this matter. Take Mr. Marion back.
And we will be proceeding with Mr. Stalling.
Okay. And Mr. Quinn, if you and your client want to move over, change tables, if you're comfortable, stay where you are. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. This is case number 220718 FY People versus Stallings.
Christopher Quinn, P6543, appearing on behalf of Mr. Stallings, who is a person. Yeah.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right. Roger, can you put your appearance on the record? This is a different case number, so I just want to make sure you're. on the
Yes, Judge. APA Catherine Wapter, P84150.
Date time scheduled preliminary examination. Anything we need to put on the record before we?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense has agreed to stipulate to the admission of the medical record. I'm sorry, the ME report, report number 22-11256, performed by Dr. Teresa Wen, and it states that the manner of death is homicide and that the cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds. And if I may approach, I can give you a copy. Thank you. Thank you.
That's correct, Judge, for exam purposes only.
All right, thank you. And in addition to that, I believe we have agreed to stipulate to the identification of the victim for exam purposes only, as well as to the admission of the 2 videos
For exam purposes only, Judge.
for exam
All
purposes
right,
only.
so court is now receiving the following stipulations to the medical examiner's report to the identification of the victim and the admission of 2 videos for exam purposes only. They are all received. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please call your first witness.
Thank you. The people call Timothy Bennett Jr.
Raise your right hand. Be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be true. You may be seated.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in. Will you please state and spell your name for the record?
THYBENNETT.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, are you familiar with 25-hour party liquor store or party store located on Michigan Avenue in Inkster, County of Wayne? Let's go back to August 6th of 2022. Did you drive to 24-hour party store? And please say
Speak
yes,
up.
yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, speak up. Thank you. Why did you go there that night?
To go get a bottle, some liquor,
Okay,
and I went to a party.
okay. What car were you driving?
White Ford, what is it called? Escape.
Okay. Is that an SUV?
Yes,
Who is that car registered to?
my mom,
Thank you. Was anyone in the car with you?
yes,
Can you please tell us who was with you?
Renee, Kobe, Jaden, Allen,
Okay. Do you see any of those people in the courtroom today?
yes,
Who do you see?
Jaden,
And can you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing right now?
you got the Nike jacket,
Well, what is he wearing now?
black shirt,
Your Honor, may the record please reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Jaden Stalling.
Record will show it.
Thank you. And can you tell us where everyone was sitting in the car?
Renee was in the passenger seat, Kobe was behind, Jaden was in the middle, and Allen was on the right.
Okay. How do you know Alan?
We all went to school together,
Do you know Jaden from school?
yes,
Where did you go to high school?
Robichaud High School,
Did you spend much time with either of them?
occasionally,
Yeah. All right, Your Honor, how would you like me to do the videos? Do you want me to log into Zoom and play it, or?
Let's have her for just a second.
Okay.
Everybody can stay here. My tech person. I don't know if we can play on there at the same time that Zoom is up.
I
You can
think,
play it on that big TV. at the
I
same
think
time?
I can join and then
You can join.
share my screen.
That's the way to do it.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we're back on the record.
All right, I am gonna join. am going to show you what defense has stipulated to. I'm going to call it People's Exhibit 2. And oh, good. Okay, thank you. Mr. Bennett, I want to direct your attention to the screen. This is People's Exhibit 2, and what we're looking at is Channel 7. And I'm going to push play, and the timestamp is August 6th of 2022 at 10:51 and 50 seconds. I'm going to push play. We're going to watch, and then I'm going to pause it. Mr. Bennett, do you recognize this person?
Yeah,
Who is he?
Carter.
Do you know Carday's last name? Okay. I'm going to pause it again and scrub forward to 10:54. Push play. It's at 10:53 and 48 seconds. So we're just going to watch it for a second. Do you recognize anything?
I just pointed in the parking lot.
And is this the white Ford Escape that you just mentioned? Is it an Explorer or an Escape?
I actually don't know like, which one it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sir, you don't speak up. Can you ask, you have to step up, sorry. You're interfering with the record. You have to step up.
happen again.
Or you just keep talking.
He's the victim's father.
Can I
Sir.
say, Judge?
You have to be quiet.
Okay.
Mr. Bennett, is this the car you were driving that night?
yes.
I'm going to push play. We're at 10:54:09. Do you recognize the person in this shot?
Yes, that's Eli.
Do you know Eli's last name?
No.
Okay. Push play. I'm pausing at 10:54:34. Who opened the doors to the back of the vehicle?
Kobe
And where was Kobe sitting?
to the left behind me.
And it looks, if you look at this part of the screen, it looks like the rear passenger door was also open. Who was sitting there?
AJ.
Okay, is that Alan?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to push play. We're at 10:54:34. And I'm going to pause it. It looks like two individuals just got out of the car. Can you please tell us who they are?
Can you go back pretty quick?
Yep. Actually, I'm going to push play. It might become clear. Does that help? And if you'd like to get up and come closer.
Is that a jacket?
You can walk closer
Yeah.
if you need to say.
And I can also replay it and I can go back. And here's a close up on my computer if that helps. Same shot.
He testified, Judge, we need to hear.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna go
gonna,
back to the seat and then.
yeah.
Then you ask your question.
Okay. So, TJ, Mr. Bennett, there's an individual here. Who is this?
That's Alan.
And what is Alan wearing?
Dicky's outfit,
What color is it?
brown.
And there's an individual here. Who is that?
Jaden,
And what is Jaden wearing?
Nike take jacket,
What color?
red, blue, green.
Okay, so it was multicolored, but was it mostly red?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you know whether AJ and Jaden had guns on them that night?
No.
Did you see any guns?
No.
I'm gonna push play. We are at 10:54:47, and we're gonna watch it for a little while. Actually, I'm gonna pause it. 10:54:52. You pull out of your parking space. Why?
Cause Kobe told me to pull out.
Okay. Was it your plan at that moment to leave?
Yeah, I was like, I already had it in my head that I was gonna pull off.
And why were you gonna pull off?
Cause I wasn't trying to be like no part of that,
And what's part of that?
what they just did.
All right, I'm gonna push play. And that was really quick. I'm gonna replay it again for your honor. I'm gonna pause it right here. We're at 10:54:56. Were you looking at the door at this point?
No, I was turning the car with the wheel.
Did you see anything that happened?
No.
Did you hear gunshots?
Yes.
How many gunshots did you hear?
Like 4.
I'm gonna push play again. I'm gonna pause. We're at 10:55:01. Now, when you say you didn't want to have any of that, I'm just trying to make the record clear. Was it your intention to leave Jaden and AJ behind?
I mean, I was gonna pull off. Yeah, I said yes.
All right. Have you ever seen AJ with a gun in the past?
Yes.
Have you ever seen Jaden with a gun in the past?
I would object to the relevance of that, Judge. I don't think it's necessary for purposes. I think it was asked at this particular juncture whether he saw guns. He answered no. What in the past, I'm not sure the relevance of that or how that is necessary. I
Withdrawn.
would object. to
Withdrawn.
that.
Sustain.
Thank you. Did AJ and Jaden get back in the car?
Yes.
Now, without telling us what anyone else said, not Renee, not Colby, just AJ and Jaden, did they say anything?
Man, it was like we got him. Then after that, I just turned up the music because I was kind of irritated.
Okay, and they said what? We got him?
And
Did they make any reference to how many bullets they fired?
8.
And was that divided?
Yeah, like 4 piece.
4 apiece, okay. That's all I have right now, Judge.
Cross.
Oh, I apologize. No, I'm good, sorry, thank you.
Mr. Bennett, it's my understanding that if I understand your testimony, you knew who you call AJ, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you knew Jaden and you knew they were in your vehicle, is that correct? And then the video was shown to you, there was an individual named Carter, you went to school with Carter, and you went to school with Eli?
No, I didn't go to school with him.
You didn't go to school with Eli?
Mm-mm.
Okay, but you knew Eli?
Yeah.
Okay, but you went to school with Cardi, who else?
Yeah, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them you went to school with, okay. Now, prior to that, so you didn't go to school with Eli, is that I'm understanding?
No.
Okay. Prior to the instant video that you were shown, had you seen Eli before?
Yes,
Had you had contact with Eli before?
yes.
Okay. How recent was that contact?
It was like a minute ago, like me and my best stopped talking, but me and was cool before type, like cool, like,
Okay, so at some point, you and Eli were friends?
yeah.
Okay. And then you stopped being friends?
Like we just stopped talking.
Okay. And how, was it a week before, 2 weeks before?
Like what you mean? Like before this?
Before you stopped talking with Eli?
I don't remember.
You don't remember, okay. Was there a specific situation or instance that caused you to stop talking to Eli? You never indicated to police, or did you, well, let me ask you this, did you ever indicate to the police that Eli at some point tried to shoot at you?
Yeah, he shot at us before.
Or he did shoot at you before? So fair to say that's a good reason to stop talking to somebody, right?
Yeah, but like that, me and Matt Ben stopped talking before that incident.
Well, let me put it this way, him shooting at you didn't help your relationship.
Oh, yeah, no, I did not.
And when you said he was shooting at us, who is us?
Me and Alan.
So, do you know this incident? Where did that occur? This shooting?
Dearborn, it happened in Dearborn.
It happened in Dearborn?
Yeah, like all John Daly.
And was this some months, was this a week before this video was shot?
It was like 2 months
2 months before?
or a month. It was one.
Are you aware whether or not Jaden was present at that particular?
No, he wasn't there.
Well, just briefly, and I'm not gonna go too far with this, Judge. Was there a police report filed? Or did you file a police report?
No, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Huh?
Plead the fifth.
What does he mean by that? I don't know what he means.
I can say plead the fifth on this because like this doesn't have nothing to do with this.
No, you need to answer the question if you can answer the question.
Oh, and what was your question?
I said, did you file a police
No, I
report?
did not. No.
This is even after he was shooting at you?
Yeah, I did not.
Okay. Were you aware of any gang affiliation Eli had?
No,
Were you aware of any gang affiliation AJ had?
no,
Did you discuss with police potential gang affiliations?
no,
You never talked with police about any of the individuals being involved in this case having certain gang affiliations?
no.
Are you sure about that?
Is that a yes?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you identified some individuals in the video, particularly AJ and Jay. You would agree that initially when you spoke with police, you remember when you were interviewed by police, you weren't forthcoming in terms of who the AJ and Jay's identity. Would you agree with that?
What you mean by that?
You didn't tell them that you knew who they were or that they were part of this.
Yeah, at first I did, but like I changed my answer.
You changed your answer, correct? After your mother showed up, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, you were given certain immunity here and it was discussed in your interview. Can you speak on what exact type of immunity you were given? What did the police?
I don't know what immunity means.
They didn't prosecute you. You're not sitting where Jaden is right now for a reason. And what was that reason?
Cause I showed them the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they told you, you tell the police, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, the police told you, if you tell us what happened here, then we won't prosecute you. Is that correct?
Mm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you don't deny that initially you weren't totally honest with the police about the identity,
Yeah,
correct?
first, yeah.
And then you changed your story. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so when you were shown this video, and we can rewind it if you don't recall, but you saw the video. And they talk about 10 minutes and 53 seconds, 10 minutes and 54 seconds. At some point in that video, you saw Eli, correct?
Yes.
Is that the same Eli that was shooting at you 2 months ago in Dearborn?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be fair to say that at least you were scared when you saw Eli, correct?
Yeah, of course I was nervous.
You were nervous because it's somebody that just had shot at you, correct? Okay. Now, and just, I want to rewind a little bit because I don't want to get too far ahead. But when you guys rode up to that liquor store, there wasn't a conversation going on like, hey, I hope Eli and Cardi are there because we're gonna shoot those guys. There was none of that going on, correct? So there was no plan that
No,
that
I
you would
wasn't no
meet them.
setup. This wasn't no setup.
In fact, this is an establishment that serves liquor to underage kids, right?
I mean, that's what you want to say.
You were going to buy liquor, right?
Yeah.
And you're underage, correct? And you know this place serves underage kids, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the sole purpose, or that was the main purpose?
Yeah, we was just gonna get
Get some liquor, okay. And so when you were shown this video and at the point that was identified by the prosecutor, when you saw Eli, you immediately became nervous.
Mhm.
You immediately wanted to leave, correct? Okay. Now, I see in the video that Eli is gesturing, it appears to be gesturing toward his hip.
Yeah,
If you see if you watch me, and for the record, I'm gesturing towards my hip, you saw Eli gesturing towards his hip, is that correct? Did you see Eli with a firearm?
No, but it looked like he was trying to reach for one.
It looked like he was trying to reach for one.
Yes.
Okay, so that made you more nervous,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Now, as you're pulling off, there was no conversation, or you didn't hear from Jaden that, hey man, I'm about to go shoot Eli.
No.
You didn't hear that, correct?
No.
Could you put it back to 1053, Cat, please?
Is this close?
I guess where Eli gets out,
Where
was
Eli
at
gets out?
1050.
All right. It's, for the record, it's 10:54:14. I'm gonna push play.
Just stop right there. A little bit back, Cat. A little bit back. Right here. Now, is this, we just talked about the gesturing of the hip.
Mhm.
Is that what you're describing there? You're seeing Eli in this video and you're seeing him gesturing towards his hip. So at that point, you believe he may be armed.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're nervous.
Mhm.
Okay. And so at this point, AJ was another person that was in the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And he was another person that had been shot at, correct?
Yes.
A couple months earlier in Dearborn. And so, but there was no conversation between you three as it related to killing him, correct? Okay, you can keep going.
Push play.
Yeah, push play. Stop here. So at this point, you're pulling off, correct? So is your intent, if I'm understanding you correct, is to leave? Is that correct? In the meantime, Jade, I guess you testified that Jaden and AJ had had got out the vehicle, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, did you inform them that you were leaving?
no,
You just pulled off?
yes. I told him to get back in the car.
Okay, you told me to get back in the car, but did you tell them you were leaving?
No,
Okay, continue to go. Stop. Back up a little bit. Keep going. Play it. Stop. If I'm understanding, if we're looking at this video, it appears that Jaden is walking back towards your vehicle. Would you agree?
keep like play back. I want you paying attention.
Okay.
Keep like-
Stop.
I don't think he was walking towards AJ.
Okay, but it's in the direction of your vehicle,
Yeah.
correct? And his back, you would agree that his back is actually to the door, correct?
Who was Jaden?
Jaden,
Yeah.
yes. And did you at any point notify him that somebody was behind him? Did you
No.
say anything?
No, I ain't seen nothing.
Okay. Now, but you would also agree that AJ is facing the door, correct?
Yes.
Okay, continue to play. Stop. Rewind. Stop. Okay, who's that at the door?
I think that's Eli.
Who is that with the gun in their hand? What pointed at Eli?
Who he got on?
It
Did
looked
you
like,
get up? You can get up.
Yeah,
if
you
you
get
need to.
who is that?
What's it?
That's Alan. At this point, do you see, and that's Eli at the door, correct? That's Alan having his gun pointed at Eli, correct?
Yes.
And Jaden, you would agree, is at least part of his back is to Eli, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't see Jaden pull a gun at this point, correct?
No.
Would you say you're sitting there? You would agree that shots were fired at that point, correct? By AJ.
Could you play the video?
And then rewind it just a few seconds. Pushing play, 10:54:50.
Stop. Stop. You would say the first shots were actually fired by AJ, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to any shots being fired, Jaden had not shot at any point, correct? At that point where the video was stopped.
Yes.
Do you see him with a gun pulled out?
No.
Okay.
I can't see him.
Okay. And so shots were fired. You would agree you saw shots fired, correct? So you have,
Objection, just clarification. Saw shots fired when?
shots fired at 10 minutes and 50, I guess
I
that's 10.
mean, today or on the day of?
On 8/6/2022, thank you, at 10:54 in the evening, you looked at the video and you saw shots fired by AJ, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We got to get that. I don't know what that,
Oh, I don't have any control over that.
we're gonna need that, I need that. Where is AJ positioned?
Next to the black car.
Well, would you agree that he's between AJ and Eli?
Wait.
Between them. AJ's on one side of him.
Wait, like, what's your question now?
I'm saying, where would you agree that he's in the middle between
Who, Alan?
Jaden?
I can't see him. So I
Can
can't-
you pull up? Can you stand up?
No, like, he's not even in the picture. I can't.
You don't see Jaden in the picture?
No. Can you point him out if he is? I can't see him.
Okay. You testified that this was Jaden.
No, that's, I got it.
You said the multicolored jacket. Yeah, Jaden is it, and this is AJ, correct? When I say I'm at the top of this, at the top, towards the top of the screen, correct? You can stand here.
Oh, yes.
He's toward the top of the screen, correct? Eli.
Get near
is-
Mike. If you're gonna, you can stand there, but just be near Mike so we can hear you. Thank you.
Eli is actually at the door, was at the door, correct?
Yeah.
So you would agree that Jaden was between AJ and Eli?
Yeah.
In the middle? And was in between shots being fired, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a yes, correct? I just want the record to be clear on that. Can I rephrase that, restate that question?
Yes.
Just so it's clear. Jaden was in between AJ and Eli, and at that time, shots had been fired
Yes.
from AJ towards Eli, or in this direction.
Yes.
Is that correct? Go ahead, play it again, play some more, okay? Stop. You would also agree, you identified the person that was AJ. You would also agree that after shots had been fired by AJ, Jaden shot some shots, correct?
Yes.
But as he was shooting his shots, you would agree that he was retreating or going back towards your vehicle. Is that correct?
You said after you got done shooting,
Right, as he was shooting.
as he was shooting, oh, yeah.
He was retreating. He was going backwards, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I know you were probably nervous and everything. So which bullets made contact that were shot by AJ and or Jaden? Which ones made contact? You wouldn't have any knowledge of that, correct? But at some point, both AJ and Jaden ended up in your vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And they ended up leaving with you, correct? No further questions, Sheriff.
Any redirect?
No, nothing more.
All right.
Step down, thanks.
Your next witness?
The people have no more witnesses.
All right. Any witnesses on behalf of the defendant?
No, Judge.
My notes say that is there another video?
There is, Judge, but because defense counsel stipulated to the identification of the
Okay.
victim, I no longer need to show it.
All right, your motion.
Thank you, Judge. The people at this time would move to bind over on all charges. Your Honor has, for both defendant, I know that the first defendant has already waived, but here we see Jaden Stallings firing. We see him firing. Mr. Bennett testified that when he got back into the car, he and AJ were talking and they said, "We got him." And each of them said that they fired off 4 shots. It's of course impossible to tell which bullet actually killed the victim, Mr. Elijah Stewart, but both defendants fired at him. Both defendants fired 4 shots at him. So I would proceed with an aiding and abetting theory. The issue of whose bullets actually killed Mr. Stewart is a question of fact for the jury. Whether both defendants were involved or whether it was predominantly one. The people have charged Mr. Stallings with homicide, 2nd degree, which the people have established. They've also charged him with discharge in or out of building causing death. We see that Mr. Stallings did fire 4 shots and I can replay that footage if Your Honor would like to see it.
No.
Okay. And Mr. Stewart did die as a result of being shot while in the 25-hour liquor store. And the people have also charged weapons, felony, firearm, which we saw both defendants carrying firearms. People have established their burden to a probable cause standard, and I would reserve any time left for rebuttal. Thank you.
Judge, I think the issue in this case kind of rests on culpability and intent. I mean, if we look at the video itself, we have some young kids here. There's a history which was testified to as it relates to the victim and or the defendants in this case, or at least one of the defendants in this case. As we watch the video, we see an individual that gestures, and the prosecution witness said he believed that he may have been armed. We then see my client who does exit the vehicle. I think what's important though, Judge, is how this transpires. And what I mean by that is so the history is established that this person has shot at least 2 individuals in that vehicle at a prior date. My client gets out the vehicle, but then it seems within a relatively short period of time, begins to at least walk back towards his ride, where Mr. Bennett was driving. It was only after shots were fired by his co-defendant. While he was in the middle, he was actually, I could potentially argue that he was in harm's way because he was in between, based on the prosecution's theory, was in between my client, the co-defendant, and his intended target. And that only after shots were fired and my client reacted to that situation and then fled and then left. But while he was shooting, he was still retreating, Judge. When I say it's an issue of culpability, I don't think that in terms of the intent, the people have established the next necessary intent to establish second-degree murder, or to have this case bound over on second-degree murder. I would argue that it's closer to maybe a voluntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter, Judge. But in terms of my client necessarily creating a heightened sense of danger or violence, I don't see that from the video, Judge, because at some point, his very life was in danger during this process, Judge. So based on the evidence that has been submitted by the prosecution, I would argue that this case should not be bound over on second-degree murder charges, Judge.
May I respond briefly?
Yes.
It's clear from the video that Mr. Stallings and Mr. Marion took seeing the victim, Elijah Stewart, as a threat. They both got out of the car. They both started circling the car that the victim was in. In terms of whether Mr. Stallings was acting in self-defense, that's a question for the jury. So the people, again, moved to bind over on all charges.
We're getting your testimony from Timothy Bennett, who indicated that on the date in question, he was the driver of a vehicle that had quite a few passengers in it. But most specifically, the defendant was in the vehicle, and that all of them went to the 25-hour store located in the city of Inkster to purchase liquor. And when they arrived there, the victim, Mr. Bennett testified, they arrived there without a plan. And then at some point, the victim appeared, and you can see from the video that there's clearly some contact or some acknowledgement. It's like the victim was looking in the direction of that white Ford vehicle, and there was a delay. Now, a A jury could look at that video and conclude he was gesturing. A jury could also look at that video and conclude that he just recognized someone he saw and turned and went in the store. But what was most telling to this court is that Mr. Bennett said, I pulled off because I didn't want to have anything to do with that. Which tends to show that there was something planned to go on. That Mr. Stallings got out of the vehicle. In relationship to that plan, you can see the car pulling off. And Mr. Stewart comes out of the store and is immediately fired upon. The issue here is whether a crime was committed, it was. Whether that occurred in the city of Inkster, it was. And whether there's probable cause to believe that Mr. Stallings, there's some culpability in the crime. I think when he got out of that vehicle without cause, he was not a person that had been shot at previously. Got out of that vehicle, circled the vehicle, was walking with the person who had the gun. The person who had a gun that he knew of, that he could see shooting, is shooting. He turns and starts shooting too. This is for a jury to decide, frame by frame, just like we looked at here, and based upon the testimony and based upon the medical examiner's report, which indicates that the manner of death in this case was homicide of a 19-year-old male. I can literally say I'm tired of presiding over these cases. It's horrible. It's becoming even more difficult because we're seeing more and more videos of actual deaths. I'm sad for all the parties involved, all of them. The court will bind the defendant over as charged in the complaint and warrant. Your next court date, sir, will be from last Wednesday, which will be the 9th. Third Circuit Court. Thank you all. I knew it was going to be.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a nice day, sir. Thank you. Please.
Have a good day.
See you all. Thank you.
I'm good.